tools of medicinal. And some of them are very, very, the modalities. And the tools, they're all the same. It's how you handle the tool. It's how you handle the tool and how you're structured and what you're this one connected to this one and up there. So it's down, right here, in here, and over there, and it goes straight down in there. Okay, go talk about medicinal practices. Sasquatch. When we get to that point where we're kind of like wearing down, I called it when I was taking my training, or way long time ago, and they try to tell me who this guy is, what it is, or whatever, and I told them, they said, "You mean he's like the Hulk?" Remember the big guy? He said, "Yeah." They call me, "Yeah." He's called a man beast. It's a man beast, but it's a spiritual. So the Sasquatch is both part man, part beast, but the spiritual, which is the star people connection. So remember when we did that up there at
in Chihuahua?
Chihuahua with well, I think she told the story a while ago what happened. I before I went up there, because they're warrior people. I mean, all animals are warriors because of their strength and their whatever they have, claws and bear, eagle, the beaks and the claw. Even the shrew can go deep into the ground. Badger, wolf, and all the indigenous communities have the same connection. And there's other animals that are connected. Deer, for example. But they also belong to different orders, depending on the culture too. So this is what, when you talk in the spiritual, you have to talk to the spiritual. I'll give you a good example of the warrior system is the ant people. The ants do not have any males, right? The queen is the leader. And there's no male in the ant system. But they make war, what do you call it? Worker ants? Soldiers. How can they do that without that? So therefore, it's a matrilineal system specific. I went to the ant people when I was losing my life already. I had a kidney transplant 3 years ago. 5 years ago, I went over there and I asked the ant people. I asked for their guidance, and I took them in a spiritual way. And I got a kidney because I asked for them. I keep praying to them. And these are, again, they're all people. They can listen to you. They can hear you. They're the most powerful people. I mean, the ant people are the most powerful. Remember how many times their weight they can pick up? Weight, I think some like 42 times or whatever it is.
Or something. I've seen some ants carrying some stuff.
Yeah.
I've never would have thought they could
Remember how
carry
they bring the stones?
Mm-hmm.
You can pile up over there. You can see turquoise. You can read the different stuff. So this is what the warrior systems are derived from those animals. So when we go out there to pray in the mountains, we ask for their strength in our prayer system, and we all become like animals when we cure. You can become a bear, you can become a wolf, eagle. The women medicine people, they sound like eagles. Remember how high pitched they are? Mm-hmm. They sound like eagles when they make their sound. And it's a closed system when we have curing. These are the things that is so powerful. So that's what spiritual warriorship is all about. And this is only a very glimpse of what we are losing it very, very fast because of interference. I left my order because they were not following tradition. They were not following protocol. Again, integrity comes into play. I have left many private companies because the gasoline shortage of 1970s was not real. I was making damn good money with Shell Corporation. I left because what was happening was evil. They were destroying Mother Earth. My job was to store gasoline to keep the price high, and then because the prices, everybody was doing the same thing, and when they start burning gasoline, I was the one that has to burn gasoline, 1 million gallons a day. I had ulcers. Spiritual people said, that's what we gave you the knowledge to go over there and destroy. And I almost died. I had got ulcers and all that. I resigned my job. And if I stayed, I would have been a millionaire because they match a stock 1-on-1. You buy one, they'll match it to you. Look at Shell oil stock today. How much is it? So these are the things that you make choices with. A lot of people do not do that. They're dead. Or it's just like the lottery winners. One morning they woke up, they had $500 million. Talk to them 2 years later, they don't have a damn dime. You know, so this is where that integrity and that warrior, you have to fight for everything. I have been fighting all my life. I fought for everything. I fought for people's rights. I fought for the land. I fought for everything. I was the environmental justice person for all Indian tribes. When they put that walkway in the Grand Canyon, I was already gone. I would have never allowed that to happen. When they had the XL pipeline, the setup about 3-4 years ago, that would have never happened if I was still in charge of that. It would have never happened because I took him to task. And it's not that, it has nothing to do with bragging or being intelligent or anything. It's the warrior road that we choose to protect the people in Mother Earth. All American Indian soldiers did not go to war because they believed in democracy or they believed in founding fathers or whatever. They went because to protect the people, the land, and all the resources. You remember when the reason Chief Joseph gave up? Not because he was a weak warrior or chief or whatever. When he said, I shall fight no more forever, because he sacrificed himself to save his people. So that's you have to do. You have to take that commitment. So you have to be out there, and that's why I think that a lot of us are protected. Because on one hand, I give a damn. On the other hand, I don't give a damn. I give a damn because of our people, of all the people, not only the American Indian people, but all humankind, all plant life, all animal life. On the other side of this, I don't give a damn about the dark force people. We just had an election last week. They're increasing their numbers. Why can't people see that? Why are they still asleep? Everything that the laws that are in place has just been thrown out the window. Everything. And so this is why I will never, ever give up of what I've done. It may not be the right way, but who's going to tell me that I'm wrong? And I want them to challenge me where I'm wrong. Because this is the warrior mentality. The spiritual warrior is far more dedication than just being a warrior. There's a lot of warriors that went in there because they had to go. But especially like Second World War, our people were drafted. We were not even citizens. Can you imagine that? And then after we helped Eisenhower, he wanted to get rid of all the Indian reservations. And so Hitler's plan was gonna take all the Indian reservations and convert them into camps for these people that are coming in. And I announced that at the Serpent Mound when Hitler was running. And they laughed at me because simply for the reason that American Indian reservations are federal land. There is not one damn Indian on any land. So I had made a challenge one time. I said, I'll give you $10,000 for 1 square foot of land. And the reason is that he could do it is because there's no such thing as that. They call it sovereignty. Sovereignty is only the right of the tribe to rule themselves. That's all it means. So this is why when I used to go after big people in the government, corporations, whatever, I make a prayer before I go. I ask for their guidance and their protection because I know I'm going to get hit. And so I believe that because that I've dedicated myself to that, and also to have integrity in performing those tasks in the mission, I think this is why I'm very well protected. And I express this to everybody that want to follow that, and I said, okay, well, this is how you're gonna have to do that. So this is why I'm very fortunate that I have become part of this group here. And the reason that I love this group here is because, just like Tammy says, no more bells and whistles. It's all heart to heart, it's all things that are real. I have hang around those people that have no integrity whatsoever. It's all there for money. And they make things up. When a blue-eyed, blonde-haired Indian comes on to me and says he's a shaman, I said, well, what's their specialty? Well, I'm a shaman. I said, well, where'd you get your training? Who trained you? Well, I went to Sedona, and I took a course with Chief X. He gave me a certificate. I said, oh, okay, well, that's fine. You go do your thing in Sedona, and just leave me alone over here. So I don't make judgment. What for? Right is right, wrong is wrong. So with that, I hope I covered enough to explain a little bit about what a spiritual warrior is. You can make anything fun. I've had a great time. And the reason is that I'm doing something that is worthwhile. And I am now in a position now, I don't feel left out. I am not rejected. I am not ostracized. I am not saying you ain't gonna be worth a damn. You're nothing, you're too bored, you're too dumb, you're too damn ignorant. I said, okay, fine, I accept it. So I just turned around there and I said, I will do what I came here to do, is to protect people, all animals, all plants, and all of Mother Earth. So that's why I'm here. Any questions?
It's a big question.
Yay.
So, I mean, I'm meeting a lot of people, including myself. You know, we're starting to connect with, like I said, I'm not Native American.
Doesn't
I
make
was
any
there in the tradition, but, you know, like Bear, he came forward, and we're working with Grandfather Bear. I know that I met a Dene medicine woman, and she says, for some reason, you have a connection with the feathers. I don't know how that happens because you're not one of our people. And I'm just going, I don't know, it just happens. And the other thing, like the hand trembling, she says it's hand trembling. You're not supposed to have that. I said,
Well, I think that this is one thing that I really run into in many places, because because of their isolation and their environment and their teachings. They had to put walls around themselves because of what they went through in their history. The Diné people are actually from Mongolia. They came here
That's why.
1500 AD. They started coming in about 1200. And if you look at, you heard about Beringia and Bering Strait?
Between Alaska and Russia. The land bridge.
Land
Yeah,
bridge, yeah.
yeah.
Right after Lemuria sunk, which was 22,000 BC according to the whole ice cap, which is this one here, the Colorado Plateau. This was an ice cap. And then after it melted, then a lot of this, the Navajo, they call Diné. Have you ever heard of Denali? Mount McKinley? So there's a lot of the language are the same from Alaska through Canada, the United States, clear down to Mexico. There's two groups, the same people. They're the Diné, and then they're Apache. The Apache are cousins with each other. The term Apache came from the Zuni word. General Crook was the one that was doing all the stuff out here in the Southwest. The term Apache comes from a Zuni word, Apachu. And it twisted around throughout the ages. Actually, the original term was Apacha. They were the enemy, no good people. So when the military guys came over and said, "What do you call those Indians?" He said, they're Apache. So they misnamed the Apaches because of the fierce ones. So they call them Apache. So that's a Zuni word. But no, when they came over here, all this Mesa Verde, Chaco, where they have the Indian reservation, I mean the Navajo, Canyon de Chelly, you know where Spider Rock is, clear down to Gran Cabrera, Los Alamos. They were all abandoned by that time when they came here. But they had a lot of wars. But after a while, when they accepted, they chased the Hopis out of there. And they had the Hopi War, remember, back in the 70s. I was stationed out there during the Apache, the Navajo Hopi War. Hopis thought I was a Navajo, Navajos thought I was a Hopi. So they destroyed all my equipment. So this is the history of it. Has nothing, it's factual, has nothing to do with hatred, has nothing to do with, anything. That's just the way it is. So what happened in this whole evolutionary process is that the modalities were exchanged. The people that came, they had their own modalities. The Asian people had their own modalities. The Pacific Rim had their, and they got it from many different places. Okay, Lemuria was one of them. The other Eastern Seaboard guys, like the Cherokees, and because their flag symbol is what? Pleiades. Have you ever seen their flag? Pleiades, right? So this is the history that I did not get from any book. This was my tribal teachings. And so when I finally got to the stage of academia, but they took a lot of shortcuts, a lot of assumptions. Did they ask the Indians? No, they never asked them. And after a while, when peace was made, they had exchange. the Yebiche song that you heard this morning, there was in 1929, they had influenza or some type of a disease. The Zuni medicine man went through all their rituals and whatever. As a last effort, why don't we invite our brothers to the north? Let them see if they can cure us. The whole population was going fast. So they brought in the Navajo people. And that's when they did the Yebiche ceremony that you heard. And they cured the people. After that, they started teaching each other modalities. A lot of information. Garrett is a good example. There's many different kinds, handshakers. There's a lot of different orders within there. And we have used some of their songs, other medicine societies. And the Coyote Society sings their song, I believe. And then the Paiutes are the ones that we took in our medicine system. So it's a mixture of all these things. So going back to your thing about they come to you because we are not what do you call it? We're not by color, we're not by whatever, because we have been recycled so many times, thousands and thousands of times. And some of us as long as you were chosen by them. Some of them don't wake up till late, okay? Some of them refuse like I did, because I know how hard it was. So there's many, many different ways, and there's nobody can tell you this is right or wrong, there's no way that you can do that. It's just the connections that is happening right now. There's a reason for that, because of that new earth is coming. You have to have, we're talking about warriors, okay? You gotta have those people that have to take that lead. Like there's many tribes that were made. Now, so now they're bringing in the rainbows now. They got the information, they see right through everything. And so because it's just the way that they were taught. The Navajo grandmother was taught by his grandmothers and grandmothers because they were in a very treacherous time, so they have to